Hi, homeschooling families. This is
Hey.
Jenny here. I'm with our amazing science teacher,
Hello.
Miss Karen Borg, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the classes that we have planned for
Yes.
the 2020-2021 school year.
Woo-woo.
Yay!
So for our lower elementary program, the 3rd and 4th graders, it's a monthly, just a once a month class, and they come for 2 hours. They get all hands-on instruction, and then they get a little packet that relates to the topic that they can take home and do. And it's completely voluntary, but it covers enough science that you'd be able to do with the seat work, and then the projects, it would be like science for a month. So some of the things that we'll be doing next year are rainforests, tornadoes and hurricanes, rockets, 5 senses, reptiles, amphibians, seeds, atoms, molecules, forces and laws, and fossils.
It's fun.
And so we look at things like, I try to bring in, like we'll be making some fake fossils. We'll be talking about seeds. Believe it or not, this is a seed. For rockets, we might, for the younger kids, kind of include more flight into it. So just, how things fly, just things like that. Atoms and molecules, how they're the same, how they're different, and just some fun stuff like that.
Yeah, what I love about the 3rd and 4th grade class, the kids just stand around the table first, and Karen explains them a little bit what they're going to do, and then they just touch and they do all the experiments, all hands-on. They love it.
Yeah, it's all hands-on. So we sit down, we do a little classwork, as far as like a little discussions, and then we go back to the tables and actual hands-on work.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just hands-on. It's not necessarily an experiment, depending on the topic. But it's once a month, and it's a really fun class, super fun class. 3rd and 4th graders are. Yep.
Yep. So then we have the 5th and 6th graders.
5th and 6th graders, it's a textbook program, and the textbook I use is Christian Schools International. They're one of their older textbooks, but I like the simplicity of it. I like that it's not super busy with all kinds of little inserts and flashiness and things like that. It's just a really good, solid, basic science program. It's more of a traditional program, so I start to kind of build the kids so they're going from like the 3rd and 4th grade where it's heavier lab to a little paperwork, where this is still, it's a good half and half, if not a little bit more lab work. But they do have a textbook. They work on it at home, and all of their papers go in a notebook. This is a student notebook from this year that everything gets collected in there. So they get to take all this home at the end of the school year, okay, and see all the fun, awesome stuff that they did. But then we also do a lot of hands-on things, and interesting enough, sometimes the classes overlap from year to year. Like this year, the 5th and 6th graders are doing seeds also, so even 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th, and biology. So sometimes things really overlap. They're doing, I think, insects. So this is my pet tarantula. He's embalmed. So, and cells and heredity. So we look at models, we build things, we try to have fun with it, and just do a lot of hands-on, because that's what the kids really like. And that class is twice a month for 2 hours at a time. And again, they kind of come in, we have a little standard system that we follow, and just make it kind of interesting. So, and we introduce a little bit of math in that class. So they have a bit of a math component.
And then we have the 7th and 8th class, which was actually the first group class that my kids ever took, and I took it here with you, and they loved it.
Woot woot.
Yep.
So again, I'm kind of a curriculum person, old school teacher. So 5th and 6th graders use Christian Schools International, and I follow suit with that for the 7th and 8th graders. And we actually have 3 textbooks that we use throughout the school year: physical science, life science, and earth science. And we use a portion of each of them throughout the year. So they have seat work, just like the 5th and 6th graders, and they have homework and quizzes, which they work on together. Their quizzes and stuff, usually they kind of work with their table mate, and then again, hands-on things.
A lot of experiments.
The kids like the hands-on, and I don't mind the mess too much. So this year, the first semester is about matter. So we'll get really in depth as to what is matter and making things, and then meteorology, and then genetics and heredity, because usually they've had enough body stuff. Homeschoolers are really good about all the body units. So usually we kind of kick into that genetics and heredity, which is a little bit different for them, learning about DNA and how all that works. So that's a once a week class.
Yeah.
So it's a nice transition. So we go from once a month to twice a month to once a week for 2 hours. And then we move into high school.
High school.
And our 2 entry-level high school courses are physical science and biology, and they meet once a week, like 7th and 8th graders, but they meet for 3 hours at a class. And for that curriculum, I use the Bob Jones for their reading part. I pull a lot of other things in for the lab stuff because I find maybe more workable for a smaller classroom setting than a large classroom that they might have geared it towards. And for physical science, it's kind of what it says. It's like, how do things work? So we do, you know, these are just a couple little things left over. Like there's a big catapult unit. We do a lot on measuring and reactions and learning how to do this type of stuff. If they haven't had a lot of it in earlier grades, that's an important skill, to know how to measure and how to pour things properly. They have a notebook also. This is one of the students from this year. And again, all their work is collected in it throughout the school year, so they have this to take home. And I introduce in the high school classes, they don't have the math assignments that the 5th through 8th graders have, but they have a vocabulary unit. So every month they have a vocab quiz, and it's all on Greek and Latin bases and how they apply to that particular unit of science. And that's a once a month quiz, which they have at the beginning, so they know how to study for it and everything.
In the last class that Karen teaches is
biology, and that is, again, the Bob Jones, keeping with curriculum, physical science and high school biology. The textbook I use is the Bob Jones curriculum. And again, we do a lot of labs that aren't in here.
A lot of experiments, a lot of hands-on stuff.
There's a lot of hands-on stuff in biology. I'm always wishing we had less textbook stuff and less note-taking and more lab. But that's kind of me. I like the doing part of it. And a lot of times, it's really easy to make the lab stuff just like kind of the, I don't want to say dry, but the factual information, and you're just kind of getting that fact stuff. So I like to throw a little art into it. So the physical science class and the biology class have an art component that they do every week as well, in addition to throwing some fun things in. For instance, like when we learn about viruses, we kind of invent our own viruses on things. And then this is an example of what my class has done this year. These are, I'll just pull this one down. These are models of a skin cutout that they did. And we do different things, like when we learn about genetics, we do it with marshmallows. We have a whole little marshmallow lab, and you get to also eat as many marshmallows as you want, but don't tell your mom. So I try to make it kind of fun and interesting, and we do a lot of microscope work, a ridiculous amount of microscope work.
Yeah, we have 13 high-quality microscopes.
Well, actually, we have more, but don't tell Janet. I keep them in a secret spot.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm kind of a microscope junkie, so I love microscopes way too much. So the science class, as far as, you know, what parents are looking for, I would say it's on that traditional side where it's actual paper. We don't do things, you know, via internet or anything like that. They're never sent to websites to go look for that type of stuff. It's a traditional program, you know, books, paper, physically doing things. However, you know, a lot of times kids get interested, so they seek out to do extra things, you know, on their own. And I just try to make it as hands-on as possible.
Yeah, that's what we keep hearing from kids that have taken classes elsewhere, that they come here and it's just like, Miss Karen has so many experiments. They love that. They love all the hands-on stuff. They love it.
We have a real low standard of cleanliness, so We just knock everything on the floor. It's good enough, yeah.
Yeah, the science room, it's
It's
nice
always
and
a hot
healthy,
mess,
clean,
yeah.
but kids don't need to worry about
Don't come in anything nice to science,
Yeah.
not
We'll
at
be
all.
experimenting.
Yes, it's always a little.
So science is our main thing, and also art classes. Miss Angie's
Yep.
not here today, but we have some samples that Karen is gonna show. So this year, Miss Angie's gonna be teaching about different artists, very famous artists, and the kids are gonna be doing some of the styles that the artist did.
So these are just some of her things that we pulled off that she
that
did.
we just found.
That she did this year. Just some of the kind of experimental type things that she did with different mediums, where she was, teaching them how to do some abstract things within a realistic setting. And then that's paint and looks like colored pencil. This is paint as well. And then this was a really fun negative space project they did, where they cut out things and then did the opposites of them.
Yeah.
And then she throws in periodically, as it applies to the artists, more dimensional type projects, but as it applies to that particular thing. And this year it is famous artists, which the kids
they
love
love it.
that unit. Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's really good at that particular, well, at a lot of things, but she's really good at that unit. And the kids like it, so it's a fun class.
It is. So registration is open right now for returning families, but it's going to be open for everyone on May 15th.
Yep.
We have postponed it a little bit due to all the chaos that this coronavirus has
Craziness.
created, but
Yes.
things are settling down a little bit, and
Yeah.
we're giving the returning families a little more time to register. But May 15, all of you guys will be able to register. Just come to our website, and all the information will be there at chsrc.org.
And our classes are fairly small. We like the small classes where anywhere from like 2 to 3 kids, depending on the class, up to 10 to 12. So they are a nice small group. You get to be real, get to really know the kids. They get to know their classmates, and that makes it a lot of fun. I think also instead of just a really big group.
Absolutely.
So
Well, thank you, Karen.
you're welcome. Whoop, whoop.
And we'll see you guys soon.
All right, bye guys.
Oops.